Okay.
Okay, all the tech is in place. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Allison McKenzie and I'm the chair of the Historic Conservation Board. I would like to take a minute to remind everyone about the rules of this proceeding. This proceeding is at all times governed by the rules of procedure adopted by the board on September 26th, 2011, amended March 23rd, 2015, last amended March 9th, 2020. A copy of the rules and procedure is available for review online. All those planning to testify today, which does not include those solely making arguments such as attorneys, should stand and take an oath administered by the board's attorney. This is a quasi-judicial hearing. As such, the board reserves the right to deliberate in private. The Ohio Rules of Evidence do not apply to this hearing. However, professional rules of conduct do apply and candor to the tribunal is required. The board members are citizen volunteers and are not paid for their service. They are treated as public officials under Ohio law. Any attempt to influence them, including but not limited to bribery, intimidation, retaliation, which may include contacting their employer in an attempt to exert influence, is punishable as a crime. All should be aware that this meeting is being recorded. Therefore, please speak clearly into your microphone and state your name and address for the record. In the event of any technical difficulties with the video conferencing technology, I may continue or postpone this hearing at my discretion. All participants providing testimony must have both camera and audio features turned on in order to participate. With that said, let's proceed with the first item. Doug?
Thank you, Ms. Chair. This is an application for a certificate of appropriateness for 39 East 13th Street in the Over the Rhine Historic District. The applicant is proposing a new projecting sign to advertise the 50/50 Gen Club, which will be going into this building. The current proposal is for a small projecting sign, approximately 2 feet wide by 1.33 feet tall, that will include neon lettering on the sign face. The conservation guidelines require neon signs to be approved by the Historic Conservation Board, as they are only approvable on a case-by-case basis. So in this particular instance, the sign is proposed to have the neon tubing around the numbers for 50/50, which will advertise the 50/50 Gen Club establishment. There will be a painted lettering neon, so it's still visible during daylight hours. And sorry, my Zoom is still acting up. I thought I had fixed this issue. Can you all still hear me? Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully you saw the screen while it was briefly working. But anyway, the sign is relatively small. It's located adjacent to the entry door for this establishment. Will be mounted into the existing pilaster aside the door. And staff feels that this is an appropriate location for it, as putting it on the storefront lintel above the door would obscure the historic German lettering that still exists on the building. That, combined with the fact that it is in a mixed use area with several other commercial storefronts in the vicinity, staff feels that the neon is not detrimental to the historic district. So staff does recommend approval of the certificate of appropriateness for 39 East 13th Street, including any revisions submitted for permit, subject to staff review and approval, with the condition that the building permits must be issued within 2 years of the decision date, or the COA shall expire.
Okay, it looks like we do have 2 applicants, maybe 3 applicants actually signed up for this one. If any of you would like to add anything, could we go ahead and get you sworn in?
I don't think I need to add anything.
Anyone else would like to speak on this issue?
No, I just want to say that the design was definitely created with the historic character of the neighborhood.
Julia, sorry, I just need to swear you in really quickly before we take any testimony. If you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying that we worked hard to create a design that was in line with the historic characteristics of the neighborhood. That's it.
Any other applicants want to speak on this item? Any questions from the board for the applicants or staff?
No comments, Madam Chair. I do have a request from Mr. Allendo, just if he, a consideration. Would it be possible in these reviews to get an illuminated photograph of these signs in the future?
I believe there's a colorized rendering in the packet. Is there something more that you're asking to see?
No, I think the imagery is pretty representative of this. So I was just curious, since they are illuminated, I didn't know if there'd be in your review, if it'd be outlined or request a nighttime shot when they put these things together. Sometimes it might be available, sometimes it might. It's just a comment.
Right, sure, yeah, and sometimes that is provided by the applicant, but not always. But yeah, I can make a note of that for future submittals.
Thank you. I'm good with the sign, by the way, so.
Any other questions or comments from the board? We do not have anyone signed up to speak in addition, so I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I'll move that we approve the certificate of appropriateness for 39 East 13th Street as noted by staff.
Second.
Okay, I will call the roll. Mr. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Young.
Aye.
The chair also votes aye. Okay, we will move on to item number 2. Congratulations on your sign. You're welcome to stick around or hop off.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. This is an application for a certificate of appropriateness as well as zoning relief for 29 East McMicken Avenue in the Over the Rhine Historic District. The applicant is proposing the rehabilitation of the building, and they are applying for historic tax credits for the work as well. The proposal is for a complete rehabilitation of the building and that will retain the existing multifamily use and will also add 2 additional units to the building. So the building currently has, or most recently had 3 units, and they are proposing to increase the density to 5 units. The exterior work will primarily include new windows throughout the building and a new ground floor storefront on the East McMicken frontage. And this is part of a larger project that encompasses several other buildings on this block known as the Finley Parkside project. Staff feels that the zoning relief is appropriate in the interest of historic preservation. The increase in density is from 3 to 5, as I mentioned previously, and there is evidence that the building previously likely had 5 units in it. It's possible that it may have been 4, but there is also the commercial storefront that previously existed in the building, which is no longer going to serve a commercial use. So the 5 units throughout the building are not a substantial change from the historic density that the building supported. So staff is supportive of the density request. Regarding the certificate of appropriateness, staff also feels that the proposed changes are in keeping with the conservation guidelines for the Over the Rhine district. The storefront will be restored to its previous location, including the same size for the storefront windows and other openings. And this is, as I said before, going to the Ohio Historic Preservation Office for review for historic tax credits. So that being said, staff does recommend approval of the plans by Platt Architecture and Design dated 10/20/22 for approval of the density variance to allow a total of 5 units on the property with a proposed density of 1 unit per 226 square feet of lot area. in excess of the 2 units permitted at 1 per 500 square feet. Staff also recommends approval of the certificate of appropriateness for the proposed changes to 29 East McMicken, with the conditions that any changes required by the National Park Service for the federal historic tax credit application shall be approvable by staff, and that the building permit must be issued within 2 years or the COA shall expire.
Okay, we do have 3 folks signed up between the architect and the developer. Would any of you like to speak? And if so, let's get you sworn in. Anyone want to add anything?
No, I think Doug covered it.
Okay. Any questions from the board for the applicant or staff?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm feeling very talkative today for some reason. Will the project, do you anticipate the project moving forward if you don't receive the state credits? Just curious. Or are those a requirement of it moving forward?
Hi, this is Joe
So
Bodkin.
Mr.
Swear in.
Bodkin, yeah, thank you. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. We more than likely it would not move forward. And we definitely have it in for applications now, or in for the tax credits now. And but we are looking to move this forward as quickly as possible with a closing coming up here next month.
You do have the application in now.
Yes.
Did I hear you say that? Well, I appreciate your work on this. That's a nice little project up there. That street is in need.
Yes, it is. We're anxious to get at it.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
Any other questions from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to
Madam
make a
Chair.
motion to approve the zoning variance and certificate of appropriateness based on staff recommendation and findings.
Second.
Okay,
And
I will.
Is there zoning relief also?
He indicated zoning variance.
Okay,
Zoning relief, yes.
Is that sufficient?
yes,
Great. Okay, I will call the roll. Mr. Weiss,
yes,
Ms. Smith Dobbins,
yes,
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, I think the only other thing on the agenda for today is approvals of the staff level approvals. Did everyone have a chance to review those? Any questions for staff? If not, I'll entertain a motion on that.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the staff approvals for January or December? For December.
December.
Yes,
Second,
Okay, I'll call the roll. Mr. Weiss,
yes,
Ms. Smith Dobbins,
yes,
Mr. Zelasco,
Aye.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
and the chair votes aye. Anything else for today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion regarding adjournment.
so moved.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
thanks,
Bye, guys.
Al.
Thanks
Bye.
all.
Take care.